Recently been asked by an insurance carrier to mix the current CertainTeed Landmark product with the old size Landmark product. This one's 36 inches wide by 12 height, and this one's 39 3/4 by 13 1/4. So they're not the same size. This is an old bundle out of a very old customer's garage that we had some examples of. There's the packaging for the Landmark 30. Clearly says not to mix with other color runs anyway, which would automatically remove this equation. There's a letter from CertainTeed stating not to do this, which would automatically remove this as an option. But this video is designed to illustrate why you cannot cut, trim, or mix these products on the same roof system. So just to kind of confirm some things. First of all, 100% this is CertainTeed. It even says CertainTeed, the roofing collection, on the back of the shingles. We know that. Same for the current. It says CertainTeed right there on the back. So CertainTeed products, 100%. There's the packaging for the old. The old is a 12-inch with a 5-inch exposure. The current is a 13 1/4 with a 5 5/8 exposure. The exposures are not the same. The common bond area where the nails can be placed are not the same. There are different thicknesses in the common bonds and different zones for the nail zone. Some other noticeable difference: sealant strip on the front in the middle, a little bit different sealant technology. Sealant strip on the back at the bottom, heavier sealant, different sealant technology. So the cellophane placements are not the same between the two shingles. And again, the nail zones in and of themselves are very different. Here's what happens if you try and mix these. If you just try and mix them outright, you're going to be off because it's a 5-inch exposure and this is a 5 5/8, and the sealant is going to end up on the sawtooth portion or not aligned. If you line it up to try and meet the 5-inch exposure, the sealant that's on the back of this is going to end up on the sawtooth portion, not making full contact with the actual shingle below. This will not provide any wind warranties. This will not properly seal the shingle, and this is not installed at the manufacturer's intended use. So again, the sealant strip right there on the back would not make contact here where it should, or in this zone right here where it should. So the sealant strip, if you were asked to trim this shingle to take off, let's say 5/8, so you have a 5-inch exposure, you would actually not only cut the sealant strip off the back of the shingle, removing any sealant to hold this shingle down, you would also be cutting the low sealant strip for the laminate feature on the front, causing this to be susceptible to wind, crack, break, and be damaged in time. If you were to trim off the top portion, to take 1 1/4 off the top portion to make this fit, over time, what's going to happen, since you're still utilizing the 5 5/8 underexposing the shingle, you're going to be off by a lot. We have 4 rows, and the first row is lined up with a 5-inch exposure. We have 4 rows here, and we're already off roughly 1.5 inches right here at this portion. Now, as I continue to nail this, I'm going to miss, okay, this row right here. Let's slide over. Where I hit the nail guard, I'm actually going to miss the top of this shingle just 4 rows up. The nails are not going to be in the same place because the common bond, the nail zones, and where they're supposed to hit do not line up. Whereas if I am firing the nail in the nail zone here, it's making contact with the shingle below. That's how it's designed to be installed, not missing the shingle below because of an offset in size. So any attempt to trim this shingle down to size would not be in the manufacturer's guidelines, or would not be recommended by the manufacturers. CertainTeed makes the product. They get to dictate how it's used, but no matter what, any attempt to trim, cut, or manipulate the shingle down to this size is going to result in removing sealant strips, affecting laminate features, offset in nailing, offset in overall pattern. And another big concern with this overall setup is the taper of the tooth over 5 inches over 5 versus 5 5/8 is going to be less aggressive on this than it is here. It's going to be a visual difference. How the teeth are spread out over a 36-inch shingle versus a almost 39-inch shingle are going to be different. These products cannot be mixed for various reasons. I hope this helps. John the Roof Pro here. Please feel free to reach out if you have further questions.